Where's Pat? But she talked too much on the phone, and there were bills coming in, and then there were relatives and friends who were using the phone, and so he had to tell Teddy, you've got to do something about that sort of thing. But he also had, so could you talk about
I'm going to
that?
tell you right now, you hold that. I'm going to tell you right now that he called me when I went to Italy at his suggestion. And I said, Paul, if you send me to Italy to study, not Italy, England, I went to Madame Marchese, who told Paul, send her over. I like the quality in her voice. I'll try. I'll see what she can do. And Paul said, Madame Marchese has heard your recordings. I'm skipping because I made some musical things on recordings and sent her my recordings. She liked what she heard. She wouldn't like me now, God. And she said, send her over. So he said to me, Teddy, I'll back you. I said, no, you won't back me. If you give me a trip to Madame Marchese to see truly whether on opera or concert or beyond what I'm doing, and I do it, I will pay you back 10% of anything and everything I ever made in my whole life. He looked at me and he laughed, of course, a little honored, but he said, okay. And I want you to know that although I did not get to be an opera singer, particularly then, I did one opera. I'll tell you about that. You can read it in the book. But when I came back from Madame Marchese, I did get a job on the stage, and I did do concerts in America. And when I worked and made money, I gave Paul Getty 10% of everything I ever made, and I have the canceled checks. He took it, and I know why he took the money because he knew it would make me feel good and not cheap. And I've never been cheap like that.
Would you call him cheap or miserly or frugal? What would you call him?
I thought he was particularly harassed by millions of people, and it was about time that he said no, or perhaps, or give somebody $25 or $50 or $100 and then say goodbye. I think, but when he said go to, come back to America and get yourself a job out in California, at that moment, we weren't married, we were in love, and he did say he would back me. I'm not saying that he didn't, but he didn't back me like millions. He didn't back me like thousands, hundreds, or anything. He just gave me advice. And then, when I needed a job out here, and I came here from having studied with Marchese, Paul said, go straight from the boat, which was the Normandy or something that was on, go out to California. There's a man out there that wants to work with you. And he is the teacher of some wonderful man in the movies. I came out here, and I called this man, and he said, get an accompanist, Teddy, and sing a few songs, work on them, and I'll listen to you. Well, how do you get an accompanist if you don't use the telephone in a strange land? I picked up the telephone, and it was $125 that his secretary told me I had spent on telephones, and that's when Paul called me from Tulsa, where he was working somewhere, and said, you mustn't use the phone that much. I said, God damn it, Paul, how do you get an accompanist if you come to a town and you don't know anybody, and you have to make an audition for a producer? You need somebody who plays the piano.
What did he say?
Yeah, you're right, too. somebody else maybe using up his money, and then his secretary would say, you know, Paul, Teddy's using the phone, it's $120 this month. And he said, it is? Lucy will call her up. I said, don't call me up. And he'd say, Teddy, what are you doing on the phone? I said, what do you mean, what am I doing on the phone? I'm not doing anything anybody else isn't doing. I'm looking for the companies to play for me so I can sing for somebody who'll give me a job.